This afternoon on Berg's Cable from Wyomissing High School Field in Wyomissing, it's what some people are calling the game of the year in Berks County. A battle between the Wyomissing Spartans with a record of 5-1 and the Muhlenberg Mules, who come into this game with a record of 4 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Randy Stevens, along with Mike Zielinski, my broadcasting partner. It is our pleasure to bring you this big title game. And we say title game advisedly. Certainly the winner will assume control of first place. Muhlenberg undefeated in the league. Should they win, they would be the prohibitive favorite to capture league honors. Wyomissing, though, a very proud school with a proud tradition. A win this afternoon on their home field would elevate them to first place. Randy Stevens back at Wyomissing High School Field. We are with Bob Wolfram, the head coach of Wyomissing. And, Coach, you have your hands full here this afternoon. This is a big game for your kids.
It sure is. If we lose this game this afternoon, for all intents and purposes, we're out of the title picture. We would still have a chance for the district playoffs, but as far as the IC goes, this would pretty much put us out of it.
Mike Malinowski, one of the best quarterbacks in all of Berks County. He's a tough one to stop. What do you have to do to contain him?
Well, we have to be able to keep him in the pocket. We feel if he gets on the corner, we're in trouble. But if we can keep him inside and make him throw from the pocket, we'll be in pretty good shape.
What do you have to do offensively? Your team a little flat 2 weeks ago when we saw you. Last week you exploded. What do you hope to do here this afternoon with the offensive side of the coin?
Well, we have to play offense the way we're capable. We've played 6 games now, and 4 of them we had tremendous offensive games, and 2 we didn't play well. We just have to be sharp. If we play the way we're capable, I don't think there's anybody that can really contain us, and it's a matter of us playing the way we're capable.
They're known primarily for their passing with Malinowski, but the numbers say they get about half of their yardage on the ground. That's something you'll have to contend with as well.
Yeah, it makes it tough because they run both their passing and their running game off the same look, and it puts a lot of pressure on our defensive ends. And you know, we're just going to have to do a good job at stopping both, because, like you said, they are balanced. Even though their passing game gets most of the notoriety, their running game is every bit as good.
Coach, good luck to you this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back with the start of today's game right after this. Welcome back to Wyomissing High School Field. Wyomissing and Muhlenberg set to go. There you see the 4-1-1 Muhlenberg Mules. They have their work cut out for them. Not only are they in first place, and a victory for them ensures they will stay there, but they have a little score to settle with Wyomissing. They haven't beaten the Wyomissing Spartans since 1978.
That's very true, Randy. This is a game that Muhlenberg is really up for. John Yoakum, their head coach, told me the other day that some of the kids have had trouble sleeping. This hasn't been a traditional rivalry, but I think last year's loss to Wyomissing has really stoked the competitive fires in Muhlenberg.
Last year's game was very interesting indeed. Both teams came into the game at 6-0. This isn't a rivalry, a traditional one, as you say, but the two teams playing such good football over the last few years, and sometimes teams that play well become natural rivals. So this figures to be a good one, and you know the Mules are sky high.
Absolutely. It should be a very interesting game. I think the keys for Muhlenberg is they can't have any mistakes, beat them early, which was the case last year. It was competitive for a few quarters, and then they had a big special teams error and turned the game around. Today, Muhlenberg will try and mix the run and the pass. They'll try and get outside with their quarterback, Mike Malinowski. They do a good job of disguising the run and the pass. Wyomissing last year, Randy, did a very good job with their inside trap game out of the wing tee, and that was very effective. We'll have to look to see if they try to do that early today.
Here comes the home team, the Wyomissing Spartans, with a record of 5 wins and 1 loss. We saw them 2 weeks ago, and they really had to struggle in a game against Hamburg, relying on 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns to pull the game out of the fire.
The only positive thing from that game, Randy, was that they rose to the occasion at crunch time. Bob Wolfram was very upset with his team, gave him a halftime blistering, said they played much better last week against Kutztown. However, Kutztown certainly does not provide the challenge that a team like Muhlenberg does.
Both teams are coming off very big victories a week ago. Wyomissing crushing Kutztown 42-18. In the process, they rolled up over 400 yards of total offense. The men who led them, Drew Mandarich with 81 yards, and Greg Weiss, after missing a game 2 weeks ago when we were here, came up with 81 yards as well. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ledger, Muhlenberg had a relatively easy time as they defeated Conrad Weiser 45-0. In fact, the Muhlenberg defense has been something else. They have outscored their last two opponents 75-0.
You certainly can't ask for anything better than that. They play a 6-2, Randy, something a little unusual for high school teams around here. It can put extra pressure on the quarterback, so we'll have to look for that.
And the other thing to mention, they have not allowed a point of any kind for the last 9 quarters. So although their offense gets a lot of ink, especially the passing game, certainly their defense will provide Wyomissing with a problem here this afternoon. Here are some of the scores from around Berks County last night. Wilson rebounding with a big win. Reading High winning a game on homecoming. They had a big night from Miller, who gained 106 yards. There you see Daniel Boone with a win over Hamburg, as Boone had a couple of fourth quarter touchdowns for Mannheim as they pulled it out. In Boyerstown, Dave Dykey with 194 yards. He has over 1,200 yards for the season, and he is far and away the leading ball carrier in the county.
Dave Dykey is the outstanding running back in the county. He gets a lot of yardage. He's very quick. Not only does he get a lot of carries, but his per carry average has been close to 8 yards a crack, which is tremendous.
Probably the biggest performance last night in Boone's win over Hamburg 29-0, which we showed you a minute ago. Todd Johnson had 242 yards in that game.
Todd Johnson is a running back who had a great year last year, even better this year. And Boone is a team that's surprising everybody. They are viable contenders in the Berks IC.
Wyomissing has won the toss. They have elected to receive. When they get the football, they will be moving right to left across your screen. So here we go to the winner first place, and it's certainly a big game for Wyomissing. Should they lose, for all intents and purposes, they have no chance of winning the championship in the league.
That's very true. They'll basically be looking at just district play, and it certainly could take away a little of their competitive edge for the rest of the season. But I'd like to make a comment here, Randy, about Mother Nature. We talked about hurricanes and flood watches. It's gorgeous out here right now. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
And when you say gorgeous, momentarily so, because we look off to the left where the weather comes from. Just a few moments ago, some very harsh clouds, but right now it's beginning to clear up, and certainly you would expect nice weather for a game of this magnitude, and hopefully we will get it.
Those cloud formations, maybe they'll run a quick post pattern and get out of here. I would like to see nice weather basically because of the exceptional quarterbacking ability we have in this game. It would be a shame if the weather took away from that.
Tim Weller will do the kicking off for the Muhlenberg Mules. He is also one of the favorite targets for quarterback Mike Malinowski. Meanwhile, triple safeties, the man in the middle back there, standing just inside the 5-yard line, is Dave Christensen. We are underway at Wyomissing. It'll be Christensen inside the 5. And he is going to be wrapped up and dropped there on the tackle, Matt Sugars. So the Wyomissing team will take over as they have a first down, the ball sitting at the 22-yard line. I will set the Wyomissing offense for you. Their quarterback, a very reliable senior, Mike Mitchell, number 11. The running backs, Drew Manderbach, he is number 42. And his backfield mate is number 44, Christensen. This will be a straight run here by the quarterback, and he is sliced down. Mike Mitchell gaining a couple of yards. And you can see the Muhlenberg defense very fired up here in the early going.
I think there's going to be a look.
Here we see Mike Mitchell, and he has had quite a year. He is the leader of this club. He's a guy who very fundamentally sound, has completed 50% of his passes throughout the season, and he will be a force to be reckoned with here this afternoon.
Interesting call, first down, first play of the game. To have the quarterback it was a design rollout all the way. A little bit of X and O strategy here.
Mitchell had a great game against Kutztown last week. He was 8 for 12, 148 yards in the air. He has thrown for 2 touchdowns already this season. Little play action here. Gets the ball off to the tailback, Dave Christensen. He had to reach behind him to make the catch, and he has a first down all the way out to the 35-yard line of Wyomissing. Mike Malinowski all the way over from his safety position to make the tackle. There you see Christensen, and defensive end is a little deceiving. He's a guy who does everything. He's a tailback. He is their backup quarterback. He can also play fullback.
He is one of the classic athletes on this team.
This is Manderbach, and he has a hole out over the middle, getting to about the 38-yard line. That'll be a pickup of about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
That was their inside game, Randy, something that they did very well last year against Muhlenberg, and I'm sure they're going to try it out early to see what kind of success they get again.
Christensen joined in the backfield by Craig Weiss. He is number 34. Manderbach goes in motion. Weiss gets the ball, and he has a small hole and a small gain. He is out just shy of the 40-yard line, and it's going to be right now 3rd down and a long 5. Greg Weiss, a man who we did not see. He and his brother John taking off 2 Saturdays ago for Yom Kippur. They are back in the lineup, and they make Wyomissing even more of a formidable team.
They certainly are deep in running backs, no question about it.
3rd down and 5, an obvious passing situation, and it looked as if Muhlenberg may have jumped. Now, Muhlenberg will claim that somebody in the line moved, and there you can see by the demonstrative reaction of quarterback Mike Mitchell that indeed this penalty will go against Muhlenberg.
I don't think there was any doubt about this, Randy, as we see the replay. Muhlenberg did jump, and there's the culprit right there, pretty obvious. Number 80, was that 85?
Looked like it may have been. In any event,
I believe it was Bruce Strupp.
In any event, that is going to move the ball almost to the 1st down marker. In fact, so close that the referees have opted to measure. So it is not an automatic 1st down, but it'll be very close. And even if they do not have it, it'll be 3rd and 1. Let's see. How's that for close?
It doesn't get any closer.
Couple of inches, and remember, it is 3rd down and 1, so that was a costly penalty. You figure that before Wyomissing would have had to put the ball up top. This way, they have a variety of alternatives, and with some of their great running backs, you can expect perhaps a rush here on 3rd down and inches.
I think that is a mistake, Randy, that's made by a kid who's really keyed up. It's early in the game, and sometimes you're just a little premature getting off on the snap.
And Mitchell will take no chances as he, on the quarterback sneak, has the 1st down, getting the ball up over the 45-yard line.
1st down, Spartans.
So the second 1st down of the game for the Spartans of Wyomissing. 9:23 left to play here in the 1st quarter. We're just getting started, and we're awfully glad to have you here on Berks Cable.
Wyomissing has a finesse offense, but they also have the horses up front to be physical as they exhibited on that play.
Mitchell hands the ball to Christensen, and not much doing. A pile of Wyomissing Muhlenberg tacklers there. Muhlenberg wearing the white, Wyomissing in blue.
John Yoakum showed the Muhlenberg team last year's films quite a bit. I'm sure they have really stressed the inside trap game that Wyomissing loves to employ. So far, I think they're batting about 500 and stopping it, and that's not a bad percentage.
Those films to the kids from Muhlenberg must have looked like Friday the 13th. A year ago, Wyomissing won at 28-0. Mitchell scrambling and finally running into one of his own men and being dragged down. He's up near midfield. He was trying to find a space to run, and he ran into Jason Bruder, and that slowed him down just a bit.
We're going to be taking another look at this play, Randy. Wyomissing has been going to play action in their passing situations, and they do again on this play. Actually, it could have been much worse. Mitchell shows some good quick feet to get out of the way. Some ball carriers. Well, I guess we'll take a look at it later.
Well, he picked up about 4 yards. It's 3rd down and 6 now. Trying to keep this first drive of the game alive. Mitchell will throw, and the ball knocked away beautifully by Dino Accarino, the defensive back. The ball was intended for number 15, Jeff Binder, and Wyomissing will be forced to punt.
What's interesting, Randy, about Dino Accarino, who made a very nice play there, is that he is an amateur boxer in his spare time and has had some fights in Philadelphia, and it's an interesting mix of sports here. He must have a very combative attitude.
Now that time he counter-punched the ball away, and now Muhlenberg will get the ball for the first time. The punter here with a nice one is Trevor Brennan, and that ball all the way back into the end zone. It will come out to the 20-yard line, and Muhlenberg will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20.
I think that was what you could call getting your leg into the ball. That was an NFL-type punt. A great job. Maybe just a little bit too great. It would have stopped a yard or two short. It would have really pinned Muhlenberg back. But it rolls into the end zone, and they'll take over on the 20.
That'll be a punt of approximately 50 yards. A good one by the punter, Trevor Brenner. And right now, here come the Mules, Mike Malinowski, all-county cornerback, to key things. And the initial handoff for a couple of yards. Matt Sugar is the carrier.
Muhlenberg loves to play a power football. They go with the eye. They don't do a lot of influence blocking. It's just really they're trying to beat you with muscle. They have made a strong commitment, pardon the pun, to their weight program, and it has paid dividends.
Normally Muhlenberg known as a team that goes through the air. They are averaging 291 yards a game. Oddly enough, though, only 143 of them in the air, 148 on the ground. So they have a very balanced offense, and that certainly was something concerning Coach Wolfram of Wyomissing. And some movement, and let's see if indeed Muhlenberg drew Wyomissing offsides.
I believe number 75, Eli Peters for Wyomissing, crossed the line. We have to see whether he's drawn off. Here we go. You see him poised, and yeah, he fires out. I think it was the same situation we saw a little earlier when Muhlenberg was in defense. The adrenaline's flowing, and sometimes the firing mechanism takes off before you're ready.
With the 5-yard assessment, it'll be 2nd down and 3. The ball at the Muhlenberg 27-yard line. Malinowski with Sugars behind him. And Sugars gets the ball, and he's got a 1st down and more, all the way out to the 35-yard line. Sugars, who had a pretty good game a week ago. That was in that big 45-0 win over Conrad Weiser. Sugars in that game with 65 yards.
Here we go again. It's a staple of Muhlenberg's offense. The off-tackle play, power play, and Sugars from the tailback spot gets the read and just fires off, and you get the double-team block up there, and you pick up 6, 7, 8 yards at a pop.
Jason McAfee had to come from his left corner or left inside linebacker spot to make that play. And the ball carrier this time is Ryan Fries. And right now, Muhlenberg running the ball well in the interior of the line. And it'll be 2nd down and 3. A good pickup there of 7 yards.
Good test for the Wyomissing defense. They have, according to Bob Wolfram, handled power football better this year than finesse football. So far, the last couple plays, they haven't been up to the task. They're going to have to shut this running game down.
This could be the first pass of the day, and indeed it is, and it's complete. Malinowski to his favorite receiver, tight end Andy Gruber. Here are a couple of guys who have played not only in their years at Muhlenberg High, but all the way through some of the younger football programs. They know each other very well.
There's a lot to be said for that because they really have an intuitive feel for each other. Gruber is a master at getting out into the flat. They like to fake the off-tackle play and go into that flat pass, and Gruber's made a living for 2 years doing that.
That play picked up a 1st down. Sugars slipping. Malinowski trying to ad-lib on this play, and he makes a nice gain as he slides into the bench on the far side of the field. Looked like Sugars lost his footing as he was about to take the ball. There you see him wiping away some mud out of his cleats, and Malinowski, no one better in Berks County at improvising when he has to. And there you see him realizing that his first option was not going to work, and he made something happen, a pickup of 6.
And this also demonstrated, Randy, a very key part of this game. Wyomissing is going to have to contain Malinowski. He certainly has the ability to get outside, which he showed there quite remarkably.
This is Sugars, and he breaks a tackle inside the 40-yard line, and the Muhlenberg Mules are on the move. 5 minutes and 20 seconds left first quarter. We are scoreless.
Sugars is a 6'1", 180-pound load who can move. And in this offense, if you can showcase and feature a back like that, you can just hammer away at the teams. And Malinowski's passing ability, especially the way they camouflage their passing and running games, really makes it difficult for a defense. I think two of the most important players on the field today play defensive end for Wyomissing, and that's Jason Eberhardt and John Korzakowski. It's going to be up to them to diagnose basically the running plays versus the passing plays, and as the game develops, they could be the critical people on defense for Wyomissing.
Speaking of critical people, when we talk about Mike Malinowski, what a season he has had. He has completed 49 of 96 passes, 51%, 12 touchdowns already on the year, far and away the leader in Berks County. He has thrown only 5 interceptions. And again, he doesn't have particularly great size. We saw the graphics, 6'2", 180. Doesn't really have a rifle for an arm, but he's a guy who makes things happen, and an ideal kind of a kid to have as your high school football quarterback.
He sees things well. He has good vision, and he has a nice passing touch. And with Gruber and some other good receivers, he certainly has the tools to work with.
They go out of the I formation. Sugars gets the ball, and immediately he is dragged down. So on a first down play, Sugars not able to get back to the line of scrimmage, a loss of about 2. It'll be 2nd down and 12.
Wyomissing's Ty Smith, number 60, who plays one of the down positions, did a nice job of stuffing that run. It's going to be critical for him to be able to help shut down that off-tackle play.
Now Malinowski, known for his prowess as a passer, he's thrown only 1 pass so far this afternoon, that for a 6-yard gain. Sugars on play action. Malinowski firing out here and over the head of Eric Messer, the intended receiver. So it'll now be 3rd down and 12.
Randy, you were mentioning to me earlier in the game that Malinowski is on the cusp of quite a threshold for a high school quarterback.
Well, he came into this game needing 27 yards as a passer to go over the 3,000-yard mark, and we'll keep an eye on that with his 6-yard completion earlier to his favorite receiver, Andy Gruber, the tight end. He now needs only 21 yards. Big play here, 3rd down and 12, the ball at the 40-yard line. Malinowski to throw. He has a man in the middle and right through the hands that time of number 86, Tim Weller. Malinowski really rifling that ball. That was on a straight line about 25 yards down the field. And we'll take a look at it. He had his man. He may have thrown the ball just a little too hard and perhaps a bit high.
He was under a little bit of pressure, as we will see here. That was a big league arm. He really threw the ball in there well. Weller is their 2nd leading receiver, so he's used to handling the ball, and a little high and wide.
This is not a particularly good kick right here, although it does take a bounce for Muhlenberg. The ball stopping dead at the 22-yard line. So each team has picked up a couple of first downs. Each team has had to punt once. With 4:17 left to go, the team's really kind of feeling each other out. No score in the game.
You know, we made a reference to Dino Accarino being a boxer in his spare time. I think your analogy is correct. It's almost like the first round of a fight. They have been feeling each other out. Muhlenberg has run off tackle pretty well. We'll have to see how well that develops as the game goes on.
And there you see the boxer.
There was a song by Simon and Garfunkel called The Boxer.
You're giving away your age here. This is Weiss trying to get around the end, and he does a nice job. He's going to be fairly close to the first down. They will mark the ball just about 2 yards shy. We mentioned Greg Weiss has a twin brother, Greg Weiss 34, John Weiss, who is in the line for this Wyomissing club, number 57, his twin.
Look at this run. We're seeing the tail end of it, but what was so impressive about this was the mobility of the Wyomissing offensive line to be able to pull their interior linemen on a sweep, and they did an excellent job of sealing off.
They'll go the same way with Weiss, and he hurdles, and he's got the first down. Ball out to about the 33-yard line. They have some horses up front to the Wyomissing Spartans. We talk about Bill Bauer, an outstanding lineman. How about Dean Vandersaw, big guy, 5'11", 190. Both men are seniors.
And the other Weiss, John Weiss, who was an excellent guard in his own right. So you really couldn't ask for 3 better interior linemen in the Berks IC.
The ball at the 33-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Wyomissing Spartans. In motion is Manderbach again. A handoff that goes up the middle. Jeff Horenza, who scored his first touchdown of the year last week in the big win, is the ball carrier, and he picks up about 6 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
They did a nice job there. Manderbach trailed that play, and they gave it to the up back, Horenza, who is so small at 5'6", it's difficult for them to pick him up at times, and he kind of snuck in there for 6 yards.
Horenza is a junior. He'll be the main man out of the backfield next year. Mitchell wants to throw under some pressure, gets it out to Horenza, and he's got running room up the right side. He is inside the 40-yard line. So Horenza showing on this particular drive, not only can he run the ball, but he can also catch it. A fine play for Wyomissing. They have a 1st down. They are inside the 40-yard line of the Muhlenberg Mules.
His other main asset, Randy, is speed. And here it's almost a little bit of a mismatch with the linebacker. He gets a step on him, and he gets it in full stride in the flat. And when you get that kind of play, you can pick up plenty of real estate, which he did.
This is the last play we were watching here, and clearly he beats the linebacker. Meanwhile, we're back live, and a carry into the center of the line by number 42, Dean Manderbach, or Drew Manderbach, correct myself. Manderbach is their leading ball carrier with 393 yards on the air. Every time he touches the ball as a rusher, he gains 6 yards.
Can't argue with that. Give him the ball all day, you always make the 1st down, theoretically.
Wyomissing driving inside of Muhlenberg territory. 1 minute and 25 seconds left in the 1st quarter. This time Horenza unable to get going. He is met in the backfield by Dan Rose, the junior defensive tackle, who knocks him down.
Slight physical mismatch there, Randy. Dan Rose, 5'11", 220, and Jeff Horenza checking in at a fighting 5'6", 160.
This will be a penalty. It will be against Muhlenberg, so that's not going to help their cause defensively. It looks like somebody got Horenza's face mask.
Critical.
That'll be a 15-yard penalty.
Critical error. I'm sure John Yoakum did not want to see that because they made a nice play, and now suddenly Wyomissing has excellent field position, and this could be one of the key plays of the game. I think if we're going to set a trend here, Wyomissing may be able to draw first blood, to use the cliche.
Mitchell flips to Manderbach. 15, 10, 5, loses the football, and Muhlenberg's got it. And look who came up with the football, Mike Malinowski.
Muhlenberg only plays 2 guys 2 ways. Their 2 best athletes, Malinowski and Andy Gruber. And he does a really nice job here. Actually, this is a great play by Wyomissing. The quick option pitch to Manderbach, who really runs nicely down the line, but he's stripped. And right there, fortunately for Muhlenberg, is Mike Malinowski. You talk about momentum. Well, we've just seen Mo switch sides in a hurry.
Now Muhlenberg has a little bit of a problem. They are inside the 10-yard line, backed up in their own territory. The handoff to number 42, Ryan Fries, the senior running back, and he picks up a couple of yards. Malinowski, really an interesting story. Not only the big reputation as a quarterback, but he is quite a defensive back as well. He has several fumble recoveries, a couple of interceptions. He is being courted by some big-time schools as a safety, Rutgers, West Virginia, Lehigh being 3 of them.
He is so good that, you know, obviously John Yoakum takes somewhat of a risk playing him defensively, but as he said, when you have a guy of that ability, you have to play him.
From Wyomissing Field, the 1st quarter is over. The score, Wyomissing nothing, Muhlenberg nothing. Mike Zielinski and I will return here right after these important messages. As we start the 2nd quarter of a scoreless game between Muhlenberg and Wyomissing, with 1st place in the league at stake, Muhlenberg finds themselves backed up. They have the ball, 2nd down and 9 at their own 9-yard line, but it could have been worse. It looked like Wyomissing might be going in for a score. Manderbach had picked up the 1st down only to lose the football, and a streak continues for Muhlenberg.
A big reason why a team can be so successful defensively if they cause turnovers, and that was an excellent example of that.
The streak we referred to, they have not allowed a point now in 10 quarters. This is Sugars, the big running back, cranks it out to the 15-yard line. Picked up about 6 yards, and it'll now be 3rd down and 3.
One of the charms of having a power offense, as Muhlenberg does, is that when you have to play it simple and close to the vest, as they are right now with themselves back to their own end zone, is that you can just bang out off tackle, which Sugars does very adroitly on that particular play.
3rd down and 3 now. Let's see who gets the ball. Or will Malinowski throw? He will go to the air. And he has a man. It is his favorite receiver, tight end Andy Gruber. And Gruber has the 1st down. This Gruber, quite a player, 6'2", 185 pounds. He has already caught 6 touchdowns on the season. He is one of the leading receivers in Berks County with 24 receptions.
Again, their bread and butter passing play, the tight end in the flat. And as we see the play develop, a little play action, not much, and Gruber just runs that precise pattern, and Malinowski knows exactly where he is, and bang, hits him.
That ball was right on the money. Malinowski wants to do it again. He's under some pressure, and this time he throws the ball away. Now the ball was intended for Andy Gruber, although when it finally landed, it went over Gruber's head. It was very near another receiver, although it certainly was not intended for Dave Herring.
Wyomissing put some pressure on Malinowski there, and they've kind of flirted a little dangerously with an interception there, but Malinowski, with his experience, refrains from doing so. Some younger quarterbacks may have thrown a damaging interception.
2nd down and 10. The ball to Sugars down the right side, and he's got some speed. And he's got the ball all the way out to the 35-yard line. That'll be a 1st down for the Mules of Muhlenberg.
Randy, you were talking about their excellent run-pass ratio. Well, they're certainly exhibiting that so far. Malinowski is obviously the threat with Gruber, but Sugars just really is playing a heck of a first half here. And we're only early in the 2nd quarter.
Sugars, who before showed some power, that time jumped outside and showed some good speed. He is only a junior. This time under pressure, and Malinowski tucks it away and takes off with it. Gets the ball out to the 40-yard line, and with the roof caving in around him, he was able to have the presence of mind to take the ball and pick up 5 yards with it.
It was kind of, I felt sorry a little bit for Wyomissing defensive end Doug Spatz, who really read the play. We talked about how it's difficult for them to discern between run and pass. He put the pressure on, but Malinowski just turned it inside, using some good quickness.
The ball actually at the 40-yard line. It is 2nd down and 5. Malinowski under some heavy pressure, fires and has a man. Just shy of the 50-yard line, making the catch once again is Andy Gruber. We'll take another look at it.
I'm not sure if there's not a magnet between Malinowski and Gruber, because
you may be right.
As we'll see here in a minute, he was not that wide open. But again, they have such a rapport, and there's three Wyomissing defenders, count them, but right there in the middle is Andy Gruber, and he has the ball.
Ty Smith, the defensive lineman, almost wrapped up Malinowski. Instead, it is a 1st down. Sugars diving forward off the right side for a pickup of 3. What a week Malinowski had last week in the rout of Conrad Weiser. He was 9 for 13, good for 224 yards and 3 touchdowns. And if that's not enough, he also ran 21 yards for a touchdown. He can do it all.
When you have such an effective contrast as they have between the running and the passing game, it really helps each other's aspects of it so much. And we're seeing a classic textbook example today. Run, pass, here we're passing again.
Malinowski going long, and he's got a man. That's Tim Weller. Weller appeared to be bumped a little prematurely there, but he was still able to hold on to the ball. Right on his back was defensive halfback Tim Furco, and yet Weller was able to make the play.
Tim Furco was right there on this post pattern by Weller. Malinowski really throws a nice ball, good pass protection, and look how far and how well he throws it. You can't throw a better ball than that. Tim Furco must be the most frustrated guy in this stadium right now because he was there and it didn't matter.
So Wyomissing got the ball inside the Muhlenberg 10 before coughing it up. And now the Muhlenberg Mules coming right back as they are driving. Only now we're going to have a little bit of a penalty, and this would have to be something during the dead ball time, because we certainly saw no flags before the play was called. Looks like a personal foul. We're not sure exactly what happened, but we certainly know that it happened rather late. And that's a costly penalty, because that will move it all the way back to the 35. And instead of being 1st and 10, it's now 1st and 25.
That is the second critical penalty Muhlenberg has had. They're having a great drive here, and we talked about mistakes killing you. Well, this is could be a fatal one, at least for this drive.
On the reception, it's Tim Weller, as he has a gain down to close to the 20-yard line. And again, you really have to admire Malinowski. He works very hard with his receivers, and that ball is right there. We'll take a look once again.
Tim Weller, another guy with great size, 6'2", 190, and it's a simple out pattern into the flat, and they run it time and time again, but the timing is there. And sometimes simple is best, and Muhlenberg is proving it on this drive. Nothing exotic, flat passes, and runs off tackle. And here's another one.
That play, by the way, before picked up 12 yards. Malinowski now over the 3,000-yard barrier. He threw for over 1,000 yards in each of his sophomore and junior seasons, and the Malinowski family has had some very good football players. Witness the older brother of Mike Malinowski, who I believe was a senior when he was a freshman.
Yes, and kind of a sore subject with us at the Eagle Times, because more than once in the last few years it's appeared in print as Matt Malinowski when we meant Mike Malinowski. So if Mom and Dad Malinowski are listening, I wish you would have named one of your sons Brian, but hopefully we're getting it straight this year. So, and Mike certainly has put his signature on Muhlenberg football for the last few years and deserves to have his name correctly.
He really has. He figures to be well over 3,500 yards before his high school career is over. One man, Eric Messer, split out to the left. Malinowski looking in that direction, floats it over the middle, has the man complete. It's Andy Gruber. And Gruber down to about the, well, we'll see where they mark it, probably inside the 10-yard line. So Muhlenberg here with 7 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first half, making their first serious drive of the game.
Malinowski is looking for Gruber all the way, almost telegraphs it, but Gruber runs such precise patterns. This is a basic curl or a hook pattern, and he just turns in front of the zone defense, and bang, the ball is there. It is great watching these two kids play. You don't really see this type of combination on this level that often, and these guys are everything they said they were and more. And the thing that impresses me,
a little bit short of a first down, so it's going to be 4th than the amount required, shown to you by the referee, probably less than a foot. This is a big play in this football game. 7:31 left to go, 4th down in inches, as the ball is just at about the 10-yard line.
And as I was saying, the thing that impresses me about Muhlenberg, they have this great passing game, but now Sugars, who's having a good year, seems to really have stepped it up a notch today. And I suspect Muhlenberg is going to go for it, and as they should, with the way they've been running the ball off tackle with Sugars.
You talked about Andy Gruber, who already has several catches in this game, 24 for the year. In the win over Conrad Weiser a week ago, 4 receptions, 114 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Let's see what they decide to do. Sugars, number 41, the tailback, but a keeper that time by Malinowski, and he's got the first down. It'll be 1st and goal inside the 10-yard line.
First down, Mules.
Nothing very complex about that call. Its execution was perfect, and Malinowski, who has been quite a story for the Mules, both on offense and defense, with a first down.
Yeah, it just kind of went between a guard and tackle there, and number 70 for Muhlenberg, Phil Morris, threw a nice block, and Muhlenberg getting good line play on their running and passing games today.
Messer in motion, firing the ball over the head that time of Andy Gruber. Looked like Malinowski wanted Messer. He was the man who went in motion from left to right. He ran a little square out down in the end zone. He was well covered, however.
Well covered, and defensive end Jason Eberhardt was kind of a disruptive influence on Malinowski. He was just about draped all over him prior to the throw. So good pass pressure by Wyomissing.
2nd down and 9. The ball at the 9-yard line. Once again, in motion goes Messer. Malinowski looking to the end zone, and that time it looked like the ball slipped out of his hand. It was intended for number 42, Ryan Fries. That would not have been a touchdown even had the ball been completed. He was not in the end zone.
We talked earlier about why Muhlenberg is so effective offensively, because they camouflage their run and their pass so well. And a big reason why is the playmaking ability of Mike Malinowski. He did an excellent fake there, and that just freezes your linebackers and the defensive ends just for a moment, that you can free your receivers up, especially into the flat. I think that's a critical factor in why they've been so successful with that short passing game in the flat.
Sugars is out, Acarino is in, the ball is overthrown, intended for Tim Weller, and it will be 4th down. So what do you do now if you are Muhlenberg? Probably try a field goal.
Are you surprised they didn't run it all on that 3-down sequence, Randy?
A little bit, especially the 1st down. They were moving the ball very well with Sugars, and of course once it's 2nd down and 9, then you have to think about throwing. I was a little surprised on the first play. So we're going to have a field goal attempt. Now the ball spotted, or actually at the 9-yard line, so it will probably be spotted at about the 16, which will make it a 26-yard field goal. And the man who will attempt it is Tim Weller. Weller, not only an end who the last pass was intended for, but now a field goal kicker. He's got plenty of distance, and he's got it. A 26-yard field goal. It comes with 6 minutes and 44 seconds left in the first half. The Muhlenberg Mules on top by a score of 3-0. Mike and I will return to Wyomissing High School field right after this. Nothing Muhlenberg, the score, a 26-yard field goal by Tim Weller, capping off a 17-play, 93-yard drive. And Drew Manderbach returning the kickoff following the field goal. He fumbled the ball at the goal line and then made a pretty nice run of it. The ball right now is at about the 24-yard line, and that's where Mike Mitchell and Wyomissing will put it into play. This is a handoff up the middle, some good faking that time. When the smoke clears, Jeff Horenza has the ball, and he's going to be very close to a 1st down. In fact, he has it. If you have any comments, questions, or perhaps suggestions, there's the address you can write to. We'll have one more game on. It'll be played here on November the 3rd, and should be a good one. Central Catholic and Wyomissing. Next year we hope to have a full slate of games on Berks Cable. The ball carrier, Drew Manderbach, and he's got a couple of yards as he slides forward. The ball up near the 40-yard line.
Wyomissing obviously trying to establish some dominance here and get the momentum on their side. Drew Manderbach and Jeff Horenza having 2 nice runs up the middle here. Something they did very well last year against Muhlenberg. The key for them is to keep their poise and don't overreact to an early score.
2nd and 7 from the 40-yard line. The ball comes to Manderbach, and he slipped down before he could get going. And he does very well just to get back to the line of scrimmage. On the tackle that time is Chad Bieswanger, and he is the leading tackler for Muhlenberg.
Who is coming off a knee problem and did not play last week. It looks like Manderbach on that play just lost his footing. The field does not look slick. There was some rain, of course, this morning and last night, but the field looks in pretty decent condition.
In fact, if anything, it may be a little bit soft, which would hamper the running of these two teams. Mitchell down the middle. He's got Manderbach, and he's knocked down right at the 40-yard line. The tackle on the play by Malinowski. Bieswanger in the vicinity as well. That time Mitchell looking right down the middle, and Manderbach, a very versatile performer, and he was able to make the catch.
Mitchell just takes a straight drop. He looks, and it's just really a nice post pattern, and Vanderbach really just split the seam very nicely. There were Muhlenberg defenders there, but he found the opening.
4:22 left to play first half, 3-0 Muhlenberg. Hand off in the middle, there's Horenza. He broke a tackle and he slides inside the 30-yard line. Some very determined running here in the early going by Jeff Horenza.
With Horenza, it's almost like trying to squeeze a bar of soap in the shower. He just squirted through there. He is really impressing me. I thought he had an excellent finish in the Hamburg game 2 weeks ago when he needed to get some critical points in what could have been a monumental upset. And he has had some really nice runs again today, 2 of them on this drive. I think it's kind of imperative for Wyomissing to show that they can assert themselves offensively, because Muhlenberg has slightly dominated this game, I think, with their combination of running and passing. And Wyomissing has been getting beaten up front a little bit defensively today. So some of those guys like Vandersall and Bauer go both ways, and I think they want to show that when they have the ball, they're going to be firing out, and they've been doing that on this drive.
Each team started the game by picking up a couple of first downs on their first drives. Then it was Wyomissing who took the ball inside the 10-yard line, only to have Drew Manderbach fumble the ball. Malinowski recovered for Muhlenberg, and Muhlenberg took the ball the other way. 17 plays, 93 yards. It resulted in a 26-yard field goal by Tim Weller. And now Wyomissing trying to answer back. So 2 teams with big reputations, very successful records, and they're just lobbing grenades at one another right now, and it's been a very, very good game.
You know, you just read my mind, Randy. You know, sometimes announcers will hype a game and say, boy, this is a great game, enjoy it. But I don't think we have to say that, even though we are saying it, because these are obviously 2 very talented football teams who are really giving it its best shot, and it's fun to watch.
2 very well-coached teams. Bob Wolfram of Wyomissing, John Yoakum in his second year as the head man of the Muhlenberg Mules. Mitchell has a man, that's Horenza, and he is knocked down at the 20-yard line. So Wyomissing on the move. That'll be very close to another first down.
I think Wyomissing is getting a little sick of watching Muhlenberg hit guys in the flat, and so they do the same exact thing here. Mitchell does a really nice job of protecting the ball on his hip. There's a not exactly play action, but it's the bootleg fake, and he just hits the fullback on like the sprint draw into the flat.
Horenza has made some nice runs. He has been on the receiving end of some passes as well. Weiss gets the ball inside the 15 and all the way down to the 12. That'll be another first down for Wyomissing. Good hard running that time by Greg Weiss, a slashing runner.
Exactly. There we see a shot of Greg Weiss. You really can't run that counter off tackling better than that. He just really slashes through there. There was a determination to him. And suddenly Muhlenberg is knocking on the door big time here.
And some good blocks on the left side of that line. Jason Bruner, number 53. Eli Peters, number 75. And up the middle, and there's Horenza. He is amazing inside the 5-yard line. And now Wyomissing banging on the door.
Eli Peters has been playing a good game offensively and defensively, and he's one of the big guys up front. We've talked about Bauer, we've talked about Vandersall, we've talked about Weiss, but Eli Peters is playing a good role in this drive. And they have some big guys there, and I still think Horenza gets lost behind them. And he's 6 yards into the secondary before they can find him.
Second down and 3, the ball at the 5. It is Manderbach, and he is very close to a first down. And we'll see how close they can get a first down by getting the ball to about the 3-yard line. And it appears that he missed it by perhaps a yard. Or did he? Now they have called an official's timeout. Manderbach having a little bit of an equipment problem. Horenza will come out of the game, and Dave Christensen, number 44, enters.
Wyomissing really running the ball well inside. And it's interesting, they fall behind and they resort to what has really helped them a lot over the years, and it's worked so far anyway.
Third down and 1. Weiss with the ball, and he has the first down. He is short of the goal line, however. Greg Weiss with a first down, and it'll be first and goal for the Spartans.
Again, off left tackle. You see a shot of the Wyomissing fans getting a little excited there.
And quite a big crowd out here as well.
A lot of brave people dodging the rain, although the rain has dodged us, and we're not complaining about it.
First and goal. Weiss with the football, and Muhlenberg rebuffs him. Weiss trying to go off the left side, and Muhlenberg came up big in that defensive series. At the bottom of that pile, number 55, Chad Bieswanger, the linebacker.
I guess maybe you can go to the well once too often. They have really run off tackle well on this drive, and that particular time they did not.
Vanderbach and Christensen, the men behind Mitchell. The ball straight ahead, a touchdown for Christensen. David Christensen gives Wyomissing the lead. A 1-yard run with 1:31 left to play in the first half. It is 6-3.
As we'll see, this is pure power football. And look at that blocking. Look at that opening. I mean, the Muhlenberg defender's in the end zone. He doesn't have a prayer. That was excellent execution. Dave Christensen, the recipient of some great blocking for the touchdown.
Here's the extra point attempt. It is up, and it is good. Scott Weiss, no relation to Greg Weiss or his twin brother John Weiss, converts. 1:31 left to play here in the first half, and Wyomissing has taken the lead. It's 7-3. There you see someone injured for Wyomissing, and they'll get somebody out there to take a look at Jason Bruner. He appears to have a little bit of a problem. What a big effort by Wyomissing. They had a drive of their own that was thwarted because of Vanderbach's fumble, only to see Muhlenberg take the ball the length of the field and kick a field goal. And the mark of perhaps a true champion is to come back in your own right, and that's exactly what they did. A 75-yard or so drive, and capped off by a touchdown by Dave Christensen.
The interesting thing was the inside trap game was working perfectly, and they gave it a nice 1-2 punch by running off tackle very effectively. There were some nice runs by Greg Weiss. Again, we've been talking about Vandersall, we've been talking about Bauer and Weiss up front, but their tackles, Eli Peters and Jason Bruner, who's now coming off the field under his own power, they have played a pivotal role in that drive as well. Another team that's coming up on our schedule will be Central Catholic, and they're having a nice season as well. John Arty is their coach, and they will be playing Wyomissing on November 3rd. And of course, if Wyomissing wins this game, that could be a big game, because Central obviously is one of the teams in the league that's been very competitive year in, year out, and this year is no exception.
To kick off now will be Alex Zepos. And the kick off the pads that time of Robert Rio and out of bounds. It'll be Muhlenberg's football, the ball at about the 21-yard line. They have a little bit of a problem now. Not only are they down 7-3, but they have under a minute and a half left in the first half.
Yes, a problem, but it's a nice problem to have if Mike Malinowski and Andy Gruber and Tim Weller are on your side. It'd be interesting to see how much Muhlenberg goes for this. Obviously, they don't want to risk a turnover this deep, but I think with their skilled people, they have the tools to try it anyway, and they are.
Malinowski looking down the field, and he undershot the ball. It was intended that time for Andy Gruber out at the 40-yard line. It is incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
That was just really a case of Mike underarming it a little bit, and I think Andy Gruber might have been able to pop a couple discs on that, trying to reach for that. That's kind of a frustrating feeling, you're sliding backwards and you're trying to go forward at the same time.
Well, Muhlenberg has not had a lot of success with Wyomissing. They have not beaten the Spartans since 1978. Although the two teams did play a 20-20 tie in 1986. This is Sugars, and he's got some running room. The Wyomissing defense may be laying back looking for a pass, and Sugars able to exploit it for a nice gain out near the 30-yard line.
That's a good call, especially with a guy like Sugars who has size and speed, and you're hoping if he does pop into the secondary as he did, he may be a step away from breaking one. So a good call.
1 minute left to play, and that ball almost intercepted. Out there was Jason McAfee, and if he is able to grab that ball, he has some clear sailing up the left side.
That's a little risky. You know, we talked about the success they've had with the simple pass, the out pass into the flat, but when you throw that far across field, as he did there, you can telegraph it at times, and they go to it so often that he made a very nice read. Jason McAfee for Wyomissing.
4th down now, 3 to go. Tim Weller, who does the place kicking and the punting, almost had one blocked. A very high kick, not a very long one, and it takes a good bounce for Wyomissing. The ball finally touchdown dead right at the 50-yard line. Wyomissing has 49 seconds to see what they can do.
That was a heads-up play by number 51, Matt Pizzo of Muhlenberg. The ball takes the high bounce, and it looked like it was going to roll about 30 yards the wrong way from Muhlenberg, and he just quickly and instinctively stuck his hand up in the air and downed the ball.
The ball at the Muhlenberg 49-yard line. Mitchell looking off to the right, has a man, and very alertly is Tim Furco. Rather than try for some extra yardage, realizing with only 30 seconds left, best to stop the clock, he was able to get out of bounds. A heads-up play.
A professional type play, and again, both teams really have been successful throwing into the flat. Almost every pass, except for a couple post patterns, have been simple outs into the flat. So we could see some adjustments at halftime.
Jeff Binder is flanked out to the left, Furco to the right. Christensen the slot man. Mitchell looking to throw. Under some pressure, firing out of bounds, and that one almost into the stands as he had no one to throw to and simply stopped the clock with 23 seconds left.
Mike Mitchell does a nice job there throwing the ball away. Unfortunately, right after he threw it, number 15 for Wyomissing, Jeff Binder did break free, which is often the case. But at the time when Mitchell was under pressure, there really was nowhere to go. A good coverage scheme by Muhlenberg on that play.
You know, you look at the two Mikes, the quarterbacks, Mike Mitchell and Mike Malinowski. Seems to me Malinowski has to play a great game for Muhlenberg to win, where Mitchell just has to have a good game. That's how much they rely on Malinowski to Muhlenberg. Penalty flags are everywhere. We'll see what this is all about. Whatever it is, it's going to be stepped off against Wyomissing. It'll move it back to the 45-yard line. Illegal procedure is the call, so apparently somebody jumping. Doesn't make a whole lot of difference. It's 3rd and 5 with 23 seconds left.
It probably just gives you 5 more yards to play with. It's not there are critical penalties and there are not so critical penalties, and this is in the latter category.
7-3, Wyomissing ahead, under pressure, firing, and there you see the effects of the wet field. The ball was intended for Drew Manderbach, and as he reached for it, his feet went right out from under him, and he ended up on his back.
That would have been a classic completion because Mitchell was under pressure. Bieswanger really put a nice rush on him from Muhlenberg, and Mitchell just unloaded down the middle, and Manderbach lost his footing. I think that's the 3rd time Manderbach has lost his footing today, so maybe he ought to change spikes at halftime.
If the school board budget allows. Muhlenberg won't even fool around trying to field this punt. It goes into the end zone with 11 seconds left to play in the first half, and the Mules will have time for maybe a couple of Hail Marys should they choose. Their consecutive quarter streak has ended. A touchdown by Wyomissing with 1:31 to go here in the first half. Muhlenberg went a minute and a half shy of 11 quarters without giving up a point.
Yeah, and there was nothing fluky about the touchdown. Wyomissing just consistently drove down the field. So nothing cheap about it. And it's been quite a game.
Stay with us. We're going to have the Muhlenberg band at halftime. Malinowski simply kneels to the ground, and this should do it for the first half. Teams are headed for the locker room. They are counting it down. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. It is halftime. In what has been billed as the title game or the game of the year, it certainly is shaping up so far. We are at halftime. The score, Wyomissing 7, Muhlenberg 3. We'll be back with halftime festivities right after this.
But what's interesting, I think, we talked about Malinowski doing so much for Muhlenberg. Mike Mitchell is having a really outstanding game for Wyomissing. 5 for 8, 69 yards, making some good reads and some good throws. I think we're going to see this half. Muhlenberg is going to have to try and take away the inside trap game, as we talked about, and Wyomissing will be interesting to see if they have made any adjustments to shut Sugars down a little bit on their off-tackle play. They've contained Malinowski as well. He hasn't gotten outside that much. There was the one broken play where his running back slipped and he made a good move outside. But Wyomissing right now, if you can say this at the start of a half in a 7-3 game, seems to have the edge. And Muhlenberg is getting the ball to start the third period. I think it's kind of imperative for them, if they at least don't score in this drive, to establish some ball control and show their dominance up front, which they showed earlier in the half.
Alex Zipos to kick off. The ball headed in the direction of Eric Messer, who fakes a reverse. Messer still has the football, and he's got room up the left side, and finally he is knocked out of bounds. Perhaps a touchdown-saving tackle made by Jason McAfee.
A gutsy call by John Yoakum. There you see Eric Messer. They fake the reverse, but it's just enough to get the coverage guys out of their lanes on the kick return. And Muhlenberg, obviously, after giving up that late score in the first half, needed an injection of energy and enthusiasm, and that was an excellent way to get it. Great field position.
Don't forget, another great game here on Berks Cable in 2 weeks. It'll be Wyomissing and Central Catholic. We'll have it for you. And penalty flags go down. A very short pickup. The ball carrier that time was Ryan Fries. Fries with a couple of yards, but check out the yellow flags. And we mentioned Central Catholic. Next week, Muhlenberg will play Central Catholic. And then Central Catholic will play Wyomissing the week after.
A couple big weekends for the Cardinals. What's interesting about the Central Muhlenberg game is John Yoakum used to be an assistant coach under Central head coach John Artie with the Cardinals.
And you always get a little bit fired up to coach against your old team. This mark-off will be against Wyomissing, and we'll see what it is. I'm not sure what the call is, but in any event, it is first down and 5. Malinowski turns, hands the ball to Sugars. Sugars off the right side. He is finally wrapped up and dropped by number 62, Pat Kelly. Well, Sugars, as you mentioned, Mike, had that big first half. He is the leading ball carrier so far in the game with 47 yards, and on that play picked up 2 more, so he's about halfway to 100.
That hasn't been effective as some of their off-tackle plays, but they did have the net of 2 yards plus, but it was a little slow developing the blocking on that play.
Sugars, the tailback, he gets the ball again, and he bangs forward. And a pickup there of a couple of yards. In fact, 3-4 yards. It's a first down.
It was a nice play. It developed a lot quicker. They did the same thing they did to the right side, and this time on the left side. So they're really not doing anything fancy. They're just trying to beat you with muscle, power and power. And Sugars is a nice guy to do that with.
The ball is just over midfield with 10.5 minutes left to play here in the third quarter, just underway in the second half. This time Malinowski faking to Sugars, will keep the ball himself, and he's got a nice pickup. 7, maybe 8 yards to the 42-yard line.
We talked about how in the first half Wyomissing contained Malinowski. Well, there was an example where they did not. And Muhlenberg knows what they have to do. They have to counterpunch, so to speak, with the off-tackle play and with Malinowski rolling out and hitting receivers or keeping the ball himself as he did there.
Sugars, the tailback. In front of him is Ryan Fries. Sugars gets the ball looking for running room, and he ran right into number 86, Jason Epperhart, and that play really never developed.
There was nothing anywhere. One of the advantages of being a tailback is you're a yard or 2 back, and you can see your blocking develop, and you can look for daylight, as Vince Lombardi used to love to say 20, 30 years ago. There was no daylight there, only darkness, and it enveloped him.
Sounds like the Star Wars trilogy here. I expect Darth Vader to arrive at any second. The play lost a yard. It is third down, and just as he started forward, Sugars had his feet upended, and he's going to be shy of the first down. To get a first down, he had to cross the 40-yard line, and he was not able to do so. They're going to be shy by about 2 yards.
I'm not sure if that was Ty Smith or not, who plays an active defensive role for Wyomissing, but I think he's the guy that got a handout from behind and tripped him up. That could have been a nice gain.
Tim Weller will punt the ball away, kicks it high. Fair catch call by Christensen. He drops the ball, but able to pick it up. It looked like Christensen, had he fielded that ball cleanly, would have had some room. There really wasn't a defender within about 10 yards, but he did the smart thing, made the fair catch call, and even with the fumble, able to pounce on it. And Wyomissing will have the ball for the first time here in the second half. 8:56 left to play, third quarter. The Spartans leading Muhlenberg 7-3.
Not a bad opening for Muhlenberg. They had a decent possession, and now they put Wyomissing in inferior field position.
The ball at the 13-yard line. And the handoff straight up the middle, and with the ball is Jeff Herenza. He had quite a first half. That time there was a small seam. He was able to get through it, but dragged down immediately.
Even so, like you said, he did get at least 3 yards, and there for a moment it looked like the play was going nowhere. He has really a knack of squeezing through guys, between them anyway.
Well, he's not that big. This time the ball to Weiss. Weiss has room. Look out. A penalty flag is down. Chasing him is Malinowski, and Mike finally drags him out of bounds at around the 45-yard line. That is a big pickup, and now we're going to have to check the penalty. And a few words exchanged there, and Muhlenberg players are indicating. We'll see if we can pick up the penalty. It is on Wyomissing.
It probably was a clip or a hold.
You see the play develop. Weiss getting outside.
Getting some good blocks. 57 for Wyomissing to a real nice block. John Weiss for his brother Greg Weiss, who cuts it upfield.
No sibling rivalry there.
They're still talking it over. It was hard to see in that replay exactly what the infraction was. I suspect it was a hold or a clip.
This is a very costly penalty. Greg Weiss had the ball on the back end of the run all the way up to the 45. However, a holding penalty will bring the ball back to just about where this drive started, at the 13-yard line. A very costly penalty.
And I think the shame of it for Wyomissing on that play is it looked like the infraction occurred midfield, which had nothing to do with the success of the play.
Second down and 10. 8 minutes left to play, third quarter. The ball carrier is Herenza. He has a man out in front, and finally on the back end of that play, coming up and making a tackle, number 22, Justin Rock. What a great name for a defensive player.
Yeah, that comes straight out of Central Casting, I believe, Randy. You can't get a better name. And that's an important thing in football, is pursuit. You know, you may be away from the flow of the ball, but you can make a pivotal contribution just as well as Justin Rock did there.
Herenza will come out of the game. Christensen and Manderbach are the ball carriers. Split out to the left is Binder. Mitchell wants to throw. He's looking for Binder, being chased, now throws against the grain, and there's Binder with a catch. He's to the 40, the 45. He's over midfield, and he's finally knocked out of bounds. What a great play that was. It appeared there was no way he could get the ball to Binder, and he bought some time rolling to the left and finally hit his man. A big gain for Wyomissing.
Mitchell does a great job of throwing across his body. Look at him. He squares off, and Binder catches the ball and veers to the right. All the pursuit, all the coverage was slanting to the left. He turns it to the right, and everybody's going the wrong way, and it's a big, big play. Great execution by Binder and Mitchell.
Binder, the junior wide receiver, takes it to the 40-yard line. Here's Christensen. He's got a big hole, and he's to the 32, a pickup of 7.
Again, the inside trap blocking. Christensen gets a great hole. Bauer, Vandersall, Weiss doing a marvelous job up front. And I think a big factor today is they're getting good play from their tackles, too. Like earlier, before that one penalty, Herenza had a nice sweep. The tackle kicked the guy out. And Wyomissing has been impressive up front.
Just to back up a second, a 41-yard pass play, Mitchell to Binder a moment ago. That sets this drive up nicely. Manderbach looking for yardage off the right side. And that should be good enough for a Wyomissing first down. This is where Muhlenberg really has to dig in. That pass play breaking their back. And now they have to find a way to stop Wyomissing as we approach the midway point of quarter number 3. Wyomissing out in front 7-3.
Going into this game, we would have suspected that Muhlenberg had the edge with the passing game, even though Wyomissing has a fine passing game. But so far, Wyomissing has been the more effective passing team. And it's probably been the difference, especially when you combine it with the fact that they have such a multitude of fine running backs.
The ball carrier is Greg Weiss. He has blockers in front of him. 20, the 10, the 5, touchdown! Greg Weiss with a touchdown for Wyomissing.
There is a flag, Randy. There's a flag, and it may be coming back. Greg Weiss made a great run there, set up by a great block by Dean Vandersol, number 73. You see Weiss sweeping left. He has a convoy there. And on the left side, in the rear of your picture, momentarily you saw Vandersol. He had kicked the guy out and made the opening for Weiss to take it all the way down.
However, the second crucial penalty on this drive will deprive Weiss of the touchdown. It appeared to be a 30-yard scoring run. Instead, the penalty will bring the ball back to the 40-yard line. It will be holding. And what a big turn of events in this game for Wyomissing. It appeared they had delivered maybe a knockout blow. Instead, Wyomissing gets the reprieve.
Certainly a roller coaster of emotions if you're a coach. That is 2 pivotal holding penalties on the same drive. And I'm sure Bob Wolfram is a little upset right now. His blood pressure's a little high.
Mitchell hands the ball to Horenza, and a big hole opens up the middle. Horenza getting down. Well, he probably picked up on the play 5 or 6 yards. It'll still be 2nd and 14, however. Keep in mind the penalty moved the ball back 15 yards. So it not only deprived them of the touchdown, but it made this series very difficult.
Wyomissing in an obvious passing situation there was hoping for a little bit of luck with the fullback draw. And they got a few yardage, but they didn't pop it as much as they would have liked.
It's at the 34-yard line. Mitchell looking downfield. He's got a man over at the side, and Binder with the catch. Binder finally knocked down over near the Muhlenberg sideline. And that play will be short of a first down by about 5 yards, so they pick up roughly 9 on the catch by Binder.
What's impressive about Binder is after he makes the reception, almost instantaneously he's making a move to free himself up. It was his quick change of direction on that 41-yard pass earlier in this drive that was a key to making a nice gain into a big gain. And he almost broke it to play there because as soon as he got the ball, he twisted the opposite direction. He may have twisted his back, though. He is off the field and he's in a little distress.
He is being brought over to the bench and being administered by one of the team trainers. Here's a big play, 3rd and 5. In motion comes Greg Weiss, and he's got the football. Now it's a race to the corner. Weiss with a first down, and he may go. He has got a touchdown. How about Greg Weiss?
You know, they had the holding penalty. It brought it back, so they just did it again. And Greg Weiss is an outstanding running back, and I'll tell you, you can't get 2 better guards than number 73, Dean Vandersol, and number 57, John Weiss. As we will see on this replay, these guys are running right with him, and they're knocking guys down. Boom, bang. I sound a little bit like John Madden here. I'm getting excited. Number 84, Doug Spatz for Wyomissing, finishes it off. And look at Weiss. He has a guy grabbing him, but he just bulls away from him and hits another guy. Great run, great blocking.
Here's another Weiss, Scott Weiss with the extra point. So with 4 minutes and 25 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter, a 28-yard touchdown run by Greg Weiss. And now Wyomissing has grabbed this game by the throat. They lead it 14-3.
You can't be more impressed, I think, on a running play than you can be by that one. Vandersol and Weiss just have great blocks as pulling guards. Spatz, the end, comes back and makes a punishing hit. And Greg Weiss is just unbelievable. Some of the moves he had there and running over people. That was an exceptional play by at least 4 or 5 Wyomissing guys. And they did not get demoralized by that was a bad penalty that hampered and negated the first drive the first attempt for a score, so they just come back and bang, do it again.
And you can't say enough about Greg Weiss. Normally you would be a little bit unhappy after a 30-yard run was called back, but he put his head down and did it again. A 28-yard run for a touchdown. Having a little trouble fielding this kickoff, and finally being dropped is Eric Messer. This will not help the cause for Muhlenberg. They're going to have horrible field position to start a drive, and right now they are trailing this game 14-3 with just over 4 minutes left to play, third quarter.
They did everything wrong on that except fumble the ball completely. He bobbles the ball, he runs into his blocker, and obviously they're down a little bit right now, but they're going to have to forget about the last couple minutes and focus on the task at hand. This is a crucial series for Muhlenberg.
Mike Malinowski has to put some points on the board, and this series will not start well. They were a little bit unsure as to what they wanted to do, and rather than run a play where not everybody was on the same page of the playbook, they call timeout.
Muhlenberg has a young team, if you can characterize a team mid-season as still being young. Despite their success last year, they have lost a lot of guys. The marquee names are back, but they have replaced a lot of people. And the key for them now is not to lose their poise. They look a little bit flustered, and it's probably a good idea to have a timeout now. It was a good call. John Yoakum's out there. He's going to try and settle them down. They're certainly not out of this game. It's 14-3, but there's still 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. They have some big weapons with Malinowski and Gruber and Weller, and Sugars has run off tackle well most of the game. It's premature to write them off because turnovers and breaks, they crop up at any time. But ball control is kind of important here. They have to get good field position. They don't want to have to punt and give Wyomissing excellent field position again, because Muhlenberg is back pretty far right now.
Malinowski's right arm will be put to the test here, but Sugar's legs will try to get some yardage, and finally he gets tripped up. On the tackle was Trevor Brennan. Sugars, who has been a very tough ball carrier in this game, picking up 9 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 1, and that's a good first down play, showing the Muhlenberg not panicking, knowing they have time. 3:37 left to go as Matt Sugars, the junior running back, coming very close to a first down. 2nd down and 1. Sugars with the ball and the first down. 3 or 4 men there to make the stop. The first man to hit him was number 55, Matt Leone.
Jason McAfee also on the play. He did a nice job the previous play as well. When you have a guy the size of Sugars, you just got to hit him low and take his feet from him, and that's what he did.
You talked about the marquee names being back for Muhlenberg. They lost 16 starters, 8 on offense, 8 on defense from a year ago. Trying to get to the outside on a play that never really developed was Alan Murray, his first carry of the day. Murray is only a sophomore, 6 feet, 175 pounds.
They've run Sugars a lot. I think it's important that they take the load off of him a little bit, especially on such a hot, humid day, and let somebody else at least give him a break, and also give the defense a little different look, because obviously they're keying on Sugars.
A couple of men split out. Eric Messer, one of them. The other is Tim Weller. They're both to the right. Malinowski looking to throw, firing down the field. It was intended for Weller. It was overthrown. On the coverage is Tim Furco. So now it'll be 3rd down and 9. This is a crucial play. 2:51 left third quarter. And Tim Furco right with the intended receiver, Tim Weller. That ball was simply overthrown.
Yeah, it was basically they flanked the 2 guys to the right. One ran a shallow post, the other guy ran a deep post, and Malinowski just overthrew it. And Furco is a good cover guy, and he was there.
Messer to one side, Weller to the left. Malinowski under pressure, fires it out. It'll be intercepted by Furco.
What did I tell you? Furco's a good cover guy.
He's got some running room. Now a horde of white jersey Muhlenberg Mules get there. Interception by Tim Furco, and Wyomissing right back in business.
The last 2 pass plays by Muhlenberg were slow developing, and they were easy reads. And as we will see on this play here, Malinowski really looking all the way at his receiver. Furco just reads it, the ball's underthrown, and he just picks it off. Obviously, Furco might have been a little trouble there, though, if the ball had been thrown a little farther, because the guy was behind him. But I think he kind of diagnosed that it was coming up short. He seems to be one of those players that's on the spot.
17-yard return on the interception, and Wyomissing goes right to work. Jeff Herenza through the middle of the line, a small gain on the play. Now Wyomissing not only looking to put some more points on the board, but run the clock as well. 2:08 left to play, third quarter. Wyomissing leading 14-3.
Wyomissing put Muhlenberg in a must-throw situation, and they had to throw deep, and they took advantage of it with a turnover.
Binder split out to the left. The ball carrier is Drew Manderbach. This time he keeps his feet, and a nice gain. He's going to be close to the first down. The ball down, I believe, inside the 15-yard line. Manderbach with a fine cut. Timeout will be called, and it looks as if they may bring in the chains and measure. And that's indeed what they are going to do with 1 minute and 40 seconds left to play, third quarter.
Except for the 2 holding penalties on the previous drive where they scored the touchdown, the last 4 or 5 minutes of the second period and almost all of this period, Wyomissing has done little wrong offensively or defensively. The Spartans have really risen to the occasion, and they are playing excellent football against an excellent football team, but they have seized control of this game, and if they can get some more points here, I think they, barring a couple miraculous plays by Muhlenberg, have just about sealed things up.
Well, still a lot of time left to play. 1.5 minutes, third quarter. The clock is running. And just straight ahead after being a few inches short of the first down, Mike Mitchell now has a first. And the Spartans really in business now. The ball looks to be just inside the 10-yard line. That's where they will spot it. It'll be first down and goal.
Randy, I was just going to say, I don't think that came easy. The ideal thing is to fire low and get under the defenders. They didn't do it that time. Mitchell was almost running straight up, but he got it anyway.
Here's Greg Weiss. He had a touchdown before, but not this time. In fact, he doesn't even get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, coming up to make a nice play for Muhlenberg was Justin Rock. And there's a Wyomissing player shaking up.
And also in the vicinity is Chad Bieswanger. There is Justin Rock.
And Bieswanger. There are a couple distinctive names that sound like defensive players. They have a pop to them.
Well, timeout is called, and we'll have to check and see who is the injured player. I believe that may be Greg Weiss. We'll see.
Appears that they're looking at an ankle. It's so easily done to have an ankle twisted in the midst of a pileup. Guys are grabbing for you. They're trying to get anything to stop you. And sometimes you're going to the left, and the momentum of the tackle is pulling you to the right. And it's not the ideal thing for tendons and ligaments sometimes.
This is no easy game. I think it was Michigan State head coach Duffy Daugherty who once said, it's not a contact sport, it's a collision sport. He said dancing was a contact sport. And we'll take a look at this once again, and we'll see if we can spot exactly how the injury happened.
Weiss will be sweeping left, and one of the few times today the blocking is not there on this play, and Rock comes up, Bieswanger comes up. Let's see if we can see where his feet are. Yes, you can see the player have his arms around his ankle, and it kind of like twisted the wrong way. Certainly a very clean play. It's just one of the fortunes of war, so to speak. And they seem to be stretching the ankle or the leg. I don't know if perhaps it's a calf muscle, or the trainer seems to really be applying some pressure to that, doesn't he?
Greg Weiss has been the man here in the third quarter. He had a 30-yard touchdown run called back because of a holding penalty. Undaunted, a couple of plays later, he sprung for 28 yards. That touchdown gave Wyomissing a 14-3 lead. They enjoy that with only 51 seconds left here in the third quarter. Now, Mike, as the sports editor of the Reading Times-Eagle, one of the great sporting events in America about to unfold this week, the World Series, the A's and the Reds. Who do you like?
I like the A's. I think what really impressed most people in this country is that they have the reputation as the Bash Brothers. They didn't have a home run against the Red Sox and still dominated it. Canseco has a bad back. He's stealing third. They have such depth in their lineup with Baines, and now Dave Henderson is back, and they have Willie McGee, the National League batting champion, and what great pitching with Stewart and Welsh and Dennis Eckersley. I think the law of averages says they may not sweep the Reds, but so give them 5 games. Maybe we'll give the Reds a game. Randy, you're obviously a baseball expert, being the voice of the Reading Phillies.
I don't know about that.
Who do you like?
There you see, by the way, Greg Weiss walking gingerly off the field. I like Cincinnati in 7. I think if their starting pitching holds up, they'll give the A's all they can handle.
And they do have the great relief pitching, Cincinnati. It should be an interesting matchup.
Mitchell looking to throw the ball. He fires into the end zone, and almost a leaping catch by Jeff Binder. The ball, though, just overthrown. Back in the corner of the end zone. It'll be now 3rd down.
Eric Messer was a pretty good presence on that play. It would almost have taken, I think, a perfect pass for Binder to make that reception.
So it'll be 3rd down and goal from the 11-yard line. And obviously this is a big defensive sequence for Muhlenberg. They can ill afford to have the Spartans go in for a touchdown.
They stop this, they're still in the game. If they don't, they probably aren't.
Manderbach, and he is going to be pulled down shy of the goal line. Good defensive play there by number 54. That is Chris Schupp. Schupp, a senior defensive end, and he made a big play for the Mules.
They're still going to have a good shot at points here because getting onto the field right now is their excellent kicker, who's only a freshman, Scott Weiss.
The only thing is he's going to attempt that field goal from the other side. The reason? The 3rd quarter is over. The teams will switch sides. We have 12 minutes left to play in this big football game here on Berks Cable. The score at the end of 3 quarters, it is Wyomissing 14 and Muhlenberg 3. The start of the 4th quarter, Scott Weiss on. He's going to attempt a field goal of 22 yards. Just a little bit of a chip shot, and he's got it. His 4th field goal of the year. He already has 2 extra points this afternoon. And with 11:56 left to play in the 4th quarter, the Wyomissing Ball Club has moved out to a 17-3 lead. And now 1 quarter left, and if Muhlenberg is to stay undefeated in the league, they are going to have an enormous comeback. They do have the man to do it, though, in Mike Malinowski.
The thing is, though, Wyomissing knows that Muhlenberg is going to have to throw. I think Malinowski is going to be facing some good pressure here, and it's going to be important for Muhlenberg to give him the pass protection so he can find Andy Gruber and Tim Weller. They've been successful with the short passing game today, but when they've tried to go long, it's kind of backfired on them, especially the last interception, which set up this field goal, which has now forced them to score 2 touchdowns just to tie. So it's uphill right now, and it's difficult to throw downhill, and it's a little harder uphill. So Muhlenberg has its work cut out for it.
Zeppos with the kickoff. It's off the hands of one man into the hands of Sugar. And Sugar with a nice return as he gets the ball back just shy of the 40-yard line. And now Mike Malinowski with a lot of preseason clips. He was the All-Berks County quarterback a year ago, and he really has his hands full right now. I think we should say All-League quarterback a year ago.
Yeah, you forgot about Kerry Collins.
Yeah, sorry about that.
The great quarterback of Wilson, who is now a freshman redshirt at Penn State. And it looks like he has a bright future there.
2 men flanked out to the right. Malinowski rolling in that direction, fires the ball out and over the head. His intended receiver was Tim Weller, Dave Christensen right there with him.
There was some backside pressure on Malinowski, but there was basically good coverage on Wyomissing's part.
Speaking of Wilson, they had a big 43-7 win yesterday over Cedar Crest. As many of you know, Wilson had their undefeated season spoiled the week before by McCaskey of Lancaster, losing a very close game. Other interesting things last night, homecoming for Reading, 21-8 over Lebanon. Reading got a fine performance from Tony Hardy, who had 6 receptions, 2 touchdowns, and Clayton Miller with 106 yards. Boone over Hamburg, 29-0. We mentioned earlier Todd Johnson with 242 yards. And another great day by Dave Dykey as Boyerstown defeated Souderton 20-6. 194 yards. He now has over 1,200 for the season. And the other game, Manheim Township 14, Mifflin 7. Manheim had to come from behind with 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns.
Down on the field being attended to is Jason Eberhardt, number 86, who's played a really good game for the Spartans at defensive back, and he's kind of like a hybrid defensive back, defensive end in their scheme, and he's had a good game. If he's out, this could free Malinowski up a little bit because he's done a good job of containing him. Although he's up now, he's limping somewhat. Looks like probably an ankle.
I would think that on a day like this where the temperature is in the low 80s, very high humidity, the cramps certainly have to play a part. Whatever happened to football weather during football season? It feels like the middle of August out here.
You're jinxing us, Randy. I think when we're back here on the 3rd for Central and Wyomissing, it'll probably be 4 degrees and 60-mile-an-hour winds.
Have a happy day. Malinowski handing the ball this time to Alan Murray, and Murray with some good running room, only his 2nd carry of the day. And he gets the ball into Wyomissing territory, and if that run holds up, it'll be a first down.
I suspect it's not. There were flags early and often on this play. And they were thrown in the vicinity where I believe it's going to be against Muhlenberg.
And Muhlenberg really has to be down right now. They trail 17-3, 11:37 left to play 4th quarter, and first down run is negated. Unfortunately, we can't see the penalty.
There might have been a clip there. There might have been a clip.
Doug Spatz on the tackle, and so the penalty moves the ball back now to the 33-yard line in Muhlenberg territory. That's where the Mules have it. It'll be 2nd down and 15. The clock is running, 11.5 minutes to play here in this game. 17-3, Wyomissing. Malinowski setting up a screen. Boy, is this well set up. Sugars will get the ball. He gets out to the 46-yard line. There were 4 blue shirts chasing Malinowski, and the wall set up behind that.
Well, it's a perfect time for this play, Randy, because Wyomissing is coming with the pressure. They know Malinowski has to throw, and it's an excellently conceived play. You can see that's an excellent shot. Look at that. All the 4 guys bunched in front, and now he has a convoy of blockers in front of him. Textbook play.
And a very good play by John Weiss to take on the heart of the blocking, and that slowed the play up, or else it would have been a bigger gain. Malinowski lofts the ball out and is intercepted by Christensen. Dave Christensen, who had 2 interceptions in the last game we did on Berks Cable. That was against Hamburg 2 weeks ago. The 2nd interception of the day. And right now, Wyomissing with the football. And if you're a Muhlenberg booster, you really have to be down now. Wyomissing back onto the field with their offense. They'll try to take some time off the clock.
It was a great read by Dave Christensen. He saw the pass. It was looped somewhat by Malinowski towards Gruber, and that's one of the few times that Malinowski and Gruber really haven't had that rapport on the route. And Christensen, big play.
Arenza dives into Muhlenberg territory, a short gain there. With just over 10 minutes to play, the clock obviously is on the side of the Wyomissing Spartans. And not only will they attempt to move the ball, they're not really concerned about scoring too many points. They just want to knock time off the clock.
All they really need to do is keep running the ball effectively with their inside trap up the middle, and with Weiss going off tackle and sweeping to the side. And they've been doing it so far.
Mitchell on the keeper. He's got plenty of blockers, and he will be knocked out of bounds. And that will not exactly please head coach Bob Wolfram, who does not want the clock stopped for any reason. And then, of course, you have to run out of bounds right in front of him, which complicates the problem, but still a pretty good gain. And they're going to be short a couple of yards. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
We have a shot of Mike Mitchell, a good-looking guy who's going to keep his looks as long as he keeps running behind the likes of Vandersol and Weiss. They are really excellent pulling guards, and when you have guys who can do that, there's no wonder that Wyomissing is winning this ball game.
3rd down and 2, 9:37 left to play. The pitch to Manderbach, and he's got the first down, the ball to the 40-yard line. And that's what Wyomissing has to do, run the ball, get first downs, and knock time off the clock.
It must be frustrating for Muhlenberg because on that particular play, Weiss and Vandersol again were out there as a convoy tandem in blocking. Didn't really get the blocks they wanted, so Manderbach makes the play on his own. When you have skilled backs like that who can complement the running and can get the yardage when the blocking isn't there, it's a very frustrating time for the defense.
Manderbach came out of the game. Dave Christensen reports in his place. He is carrying a play from head coach Bob Wolfram, and right now an official's timeout. There you see Manderbach. He had a big 97-yard kickoff return for a touchdown in the opening game of the season for Wyomissing. Being a cheerleader is tough business when you're down 17-3 with 9 minutes to play. 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line for Wyomissing. Jeff Horenza gets stacked up. First man to meet him was Alan Murray. And emerging with the ball is Justin Rock, but despite his protestations, the referee's telling Justin to bring it back.
I think a little frustration now setting in with Muhlenberg. Alan Murray made a nice play there. I think Muhlenberg's getting a little frustrated with Horenza running so well up the middle that when they have a chance to really stuff him, they do, and they did, especially Alan Murray.
2nd and 9 at the 39-yard line. Horenza, the fullback, in motion goes Manderbach. He gets the football. He's got Weiss in front of him. Tries to cut back against the grain and makes a pretty fine run. Picks up 4 yards to the 35-yard line.
Nice instinctive move. The play was obviously designed to go to the right side on a sweep. He cuts it back and gets a few more yards out of it. Everybody who talks about Wyomissing talks about how schooled they are in fundamentals. We talked about this 2 weeks ago against Hamburg. They have a system. They play it well. There are other teams who do some of the things they do, but as John Yoakum said it, they do it a notch better. And I think they've shown us all today. They do indeed.
Kutztown head coach Barry Fireberg said after his team was decimated by Wyomissing last week, they are the most disciplined team he has ever seen. And that's a tribute to good coaching and to a system which these kids learned very early on. It's Delaware wing T. This, however, not part of that system. A 5-yard delay of game penalty. That will not help the cause. It'll be 3rd down now and a long 10.
Although, if you're trying to kill the clock, I guess you're trying to squeeze every moment you can, and they just squeezed one too many.
Mitchell, and just missing him there was number 34, Accarino. And finally, Mitchell has to be run out of bounds, but that'll in no way come near getting the first down. In fact, the play actually losing 6 yards. And now it'll be 4th down, and Wyomissing will have to punt the football.
Coaches and media types like to talk about penetration. You don't get much better penetration than that. It was almost like Dino Accarino was playing in the backfield for Wyomissing on that play.
Twin safeties back for the Mules. Eric Messer, one man, and Malinowski, who plays quarterback, defense, handles punt return duties, does it all, is the other man. And now timeout is called.
As you talked about, he's really being looked upon by a lot of Division I schools, possibly as a secondary person. He is very good safety. And we talked about Andy Gruber, who is his counterpart in offense as a tight end, who's an excellent cornerback. So when you have two guys like that, it's a nice luxury to have. I've been impressed with Muhlenberg today. I know the score probably isn't indicative of that, down 17-3, but I think Wyomissing, as Bob Wolfram, hopefully we can grab him after the game, Wyomissing probably is playing the game of their season. I can't imagine them looking any better than they have today. If they are better than this, that's scary. And I know they have some tough games coming up, and we look forward to the game with Central. But Muhlenberg has an excellent team as well. I think it looks like they probably aren't going to win this game, but the Mules figure to have a lot of success the rest of this season. They do a lot of things that Wilson has done. We've talked about Wyomissing system. John Yoakum has refined the system somewhat, but basically they play Wilson football, the power offense off tackle, a little bit more passing, and the 6-2 defense. The systems work for Wilson. It's going to work for Muhlenberg.
Here's Brenner to punt the ball, and it's going to be taken here over on the far side by Messer. So not especially good field position for the Mules. They have 7 minutes and 21 seconds. They are undefeated in the conference, but they have a big hole to dig out of. They trail this game 17-3.
A big hole indeed, and they're not going to get out of it with a couple picks and shovels. They're going to need a few bombs here. But I'm sure Wyomissing is well aware of it, so they're going to be putting a nice rush, and their defensive backs, Binder and Furco, are dropping back just a little bit deeper.
1st and 10 at the 14-yard line, and that play getting nothing on the carry that time was Freeze, and he was frozen.
I think a couple draw plays and a couple screen passes like they did earlier, especially the screen pass on the previous possession, if they can do that to keep Wyomissing off balance a little bit, and maybe throw some curl patterns in the underbelly of the zone, because Wyomissing is going to be thinking deep right now, it could get them downfield.
Matt Sugars with the carry that time. Somebody just came up and handed me a little ticket. I don't know whether that's a 50-50 ticket or I was going to say I'll keep it. It's the winning ticket. I guess not. Big play right here, just over 6 minutes to play, 6:22 and counting. And this is to keep possession of the ball, 3rd down and 6. Malinowski to throw. Has a man in the middle, it's complete. Tim Weller on the reception all the way out to the 45-yard line. Now, boy, Malinowski put that ball right on the money in a big 3rd down conversion, enabling Muhlenberg to keep the football.
I think Mike Malinowski showed us on this one play why he is so special. As we watch the replay, he's scanning the field, and look at that throw. That is right there, and that ball moved, because if it wouldn't have, Dave Christensen would have had another interception. That ball just beat Christensen, and he found his receiver, Weller. Malinowski throwing again.
And this time it's intercepted for the 2nd time this afternoon. Tim Furco with an interception. He's still on his feet. And finally they drag him down, but not before he gets to the 27-yard line. Not only a great interception, but how about that return?
You know, Tim Furco, we talked about earlier, he had a interception before. He has great field presence, which you need. He almost like playing center field back there. He read that play perfectly. As we'll see, Malinowski forces this ball into coverage. He scrambled around, and Furco, well, that was the previous play. And Furco just steps right in front of Weller, and watch this run. He wiggles, bounces off one guy, and he bounced off about 2 or 3 other guys, and he's really not that big of a guy, as we see Drew Manderbach sweep the right side.
Manderbach heading to the 20-yard line. There is an injured mule on the play. Now the story for Malinowski coming into this game, 12 touchdowns throwing on the season, 7 interceptions. This afternoon, no touchdowns and 3 INTs.
You know, we've talked a lot about Wyomissing's offense, their guards, their running backs, but they have quite a defense, and they really seem blessed with some good defensive cover guys.
Ball is loose, and let's see, looks like Muhlenberg has it. What a break this would be for the Mules, and they've come up with it. Boy, that's the last thing you want to see if you are Wyomissing. Mules end up with the football.
Yeah, everything is going Wyomissing's way. Furco just makes the big play. Muhlenberg really is in desperate straits. And then an elemental thing, which really isn't that simple at times. I don't think people realize how difficult it is to play center and make a clean snap and have a quick exchange, a clean exchange, snap after snap, while some guy's trying to push your brains through your helmet. And a bad timing, at any rate, for Wyomissing in this particular instance.
Well, again, a man is down for Wyomissing. We're not quite sure who it is. We can tell you this, 4:44 left to play. 17-3 Wyomissing. All of the scoring in this second half done by the Spartans. And we'll see if we can identify who the injured player is. There are a number of trainers right now taking a look at him, and the man now we can see is Bill Bauer, the very outstanding lineman.
You know, we talked about making that exchange. He must have really got popped on that particular play and probably caused maybe a premature, he didn't get the ball quite up high enough into Mitchell's hands. Bauer is not only a great physical player, but he is credited with by his coach, Bob Wolfram, with really making a lot of the line calls, which is very important in their type of offense.
Now Wyomissing can sit back in his zone right now. Malinowski running away, and he will get out of bounds to at least stop the clock. Nothing doing there. Right now, Wyomissing just content to sit back in that zone with about 6 or 7 players dropping off the line. It's got to be tough to find a receiver.
I think the only thing you can do is try and throw underneath the deep coverage in the flat and down the middle into the curl area. You probably want to throw to the flat so you guys can get out of bounds, because there's only 4 minutes left. You need a couple scores. And maybe, hopefully, a guy can make a big play, Weller, Gruber, and turn it upfield after catching it in the flat area and break off a 30, 40-yarder.
2nd down and 7, and again, a run. And you have to think now you almost have to put the ball up with only 4:20 to go.
I guess they're hoping that, you have to keep them off balance a little bit, but it's really getting a little late to run. Perhaps as a counterpoint to the run, you could come up with a screen or the draw, but to be honest with you, right now, almost anything you do is a tough call.
It really is. 3rd down and 6. The ball at the 24-yard line. Malinowski looking down the field, has a man wide open. That's Weller, and he is going to be wrestled down, but not before he gets to the 42-yard line. Tim Furco on the tackle.
That was a great pattern. Weller is such a big target. He towers over Furco, who really was only a step behind. But a great pass by Malinowski as we see the replay. He's looking downfield. Malinowski does a slant pattern across the middle. Excuse me, not Malinowski, Weller. And he's really a nice play. And he was probably a step away from breaking that, which could have changed this game around a little bit anyway.
Actually, Tim Weller. Here's Malinowski again under some pressure, and they float the ball out. And you really have to be careful that that's not a lateral. Sometimes you think it's an incomplete pass, and a defensive player can pick it up. That, though, was clearly a pass.
It was a pass, and that was a little shaky, to be honest.
Yes, it was.
Jason Eberhardt might have had an opportunity. It was just a little over his head. He could have taken that and gone at least 40 yards for a touchdown.
Andy Gruber, by the way, was the man who for which the pass was intended.
Andy Gruber has been shut down somewhat the second half. I said at halftime they probably couldn't do it. Well, I stand corrected. They have done it, at least so far.
He had 4 receptions in the first half. I do not think he has had 1 here in the second half. This is when Malinowski's dangerous. He's got that great scrambling ability, and what he did there is hug the sidelines, and at the first moment's trouble, stepped out of bounds. 3:21 left to go.
Well, you know, the thing is, we've been talking as maybe this game is over. There are 3 minutes left. If they get a score here, they get an onside kick, whatever, they're back in it. Of course, there's no overtime, so it would be difficult for them to win it, but they have a good shot at tying. And of course, there's always a 2-point conversion as well.
That's right. And we'll see what Malinowski can do. He's got 2 men flanked out to the left and looking in that direction. Fires it out and in and out of the hands of Tim Weller.
That's unfortunate for Tim Weller because Mike Malinowski made a great throw there. That was pure arm, and he zipped it in there. An impressive throw. Unfortunately for him, it's for naught.
So now, besides being down 14 points, the Mules have 4th down and 4. So they're going to have to convert this first down. The ball is at the 36-yard line.
Somehow I think they're going to be throwing in the flat to Andy Gruber.
Eric Messer is out on the left. Malinowski with a quick pitch to Sugar. Now, does he have the first down? They needed 4 yards, and it appears that he has a first down. So that was a good play, the option play, something we haven't seen all day.
Wyomissing has done it, but Muhlenberg has not. And you're right, Andy. Excuse me, Randy. They did an excellent job.
Thanks, George.
A quick pitch on the option to Matt Sugars, who gets a critical first down for Muhlenberg. As we see the play, there's the pitch, and he just gets outside and just enough as a convoy of tacklers converges on him.
This play never really gets going here. Alan Murray. Sugars just got inside the stick, and not only that, he was able to stop the clock. We are under 3 minutes left to go, 17-3 Wyomissing. And the Mules must not only score, they must score quickly and then get the ball back.
They try to give him a different look and keep the defense off balance with running to the other side with Murray, but Wyomissing did an excellent job of diagnosing it and burying it.
2nd down and 14. Again, Weller is flanked out to the left. And Messer to the right. Malinowski lobs it up, and it's incomplete. And boy, that's a dangerous pass. Jump ball.
No question about it. That was what I like to call a lollipop. And I think Mike is right now feeling very relieved that nobody picked that off.
Sometimes defensive linemen around a ball and in their anticipation to get over there, nobody can move. That ball was right between 4 blue shirts. This is a big play right here. 3rd down and 13, 2:27 left to go. And Muhlenberg is going to have to convert. Malinowski has time. He has a man. That is number 33, Dave Herring. First time we have called his number this afternoon, and he looks to be very close to a first down. And in fact, he has it.
That was a big play by Muhlenberg, and again, he really makes the nice throw to Herring. You can't really throw the ball any better than that. It arrived right where it should have been, when it should have been. So Muhlenberg has a little bit of life left, but they're running out of time. There's only 2 minutes to go.
They have the ball at the 20-yard line. And the ball is dropped. I think right there, the man for whom it was intended, Tim Weller, was a little bit more concerned about getting out of bounds to stop the clock, and he never really tucked it away and simply dropped it.
And it just takes an instant distraction to cause a pass to slip through your fingers.
1 minute and 58 seconds. No 2-minute warning in high school. Looking right into somebody's living room.
Hey, that guy has a great seat.
Malinowski escaping trouble. This is his forte. Throws into the end zone. It's got a touchdown. Well, there's Andy Gruber, his favorite receiver, with his 5th catch of the day, but only his 1st catch of the second half. It is good for a touchdown for Muhlenberg.
As we're going to see in this replay, this crystallizes Muhlenberg's offense. Look at this athletic play by Malinowski. He's just throwing off his back foot across his body and throws a strike to Andy Gruber, who has gotten behind the defense in a nice curl pattern, a deep curl pattern into the end zone. You can't make a better play than Malinowski made on that play. And that has to be a psychological boost for Muhlenberg. Even if they don't win this game, at least they've come back, they've showed some nice poise and maturity, and they've gone down and they've gotten some more points on the board.
They are now down by 8 points, so no sense going for a 2-point conversion here. They will try the extra point. It is up, and let's see. It is no good. Tim Weller misses an extra point, so even if Muhlenberg is able to get the ball back and score again, the best they can hope for now is a tie with the 2-point conversion. That's a big miss.
You know, that's when strategy backfires on you. I think John Yoakum, as you just said, Randy, made the right decision. You get the 1 point now, get the other score, then go for 2, because it's kind of deflating psychologically to go for 2 and not get it. It's much worse to go for 1 and not get it. But Muhlenberg has come back, and they've looked at adversity, and they haven't been intimidated by it. So we're going to have to see if they're going to have a onside kick or not, as we see Mike Malinowski on the sideline talking to Coach John Yoakum. That was a great play on that touchdown pass by Malinowski. He's everything that we heard that he was, Randy. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree. He hits his favorite receiver, Andy Gruber, who was all alone in the end zone. A 20-yard touchdown pass. 1 minute and 51 seconds, and I would say the onside kick will be coming.
Sometimes the school of thought is to bloop it in the middle between your up guys and the back guys, and then maybe you're guys can get back there and make the play. Let's see what they do.
That's Weller kicking off. It goes long enough. It's on the ground. Let's see who has it. I believe Wyomissing has recovered. We'll wait and see as they unpile. That ball almost slipped through the first line of blockers there, but Wyomissing does indeed have the football. That was at the 46-yard line. Wyomissing has it 1st and 10.
That was tantalizingly close for Muhlenberg. If you can slip it behind the up guys, you can make a play, and they came close to it. Now they're going to have to force a turnover, and they're going to have to try and strip the ball. But it's going to be difficult because I'm sure they're either going to have just quick punches up the middle or even have Mitchell flop on it.
Mitchell hands it to Horenza. He is more concerned with putting both arms around the ball than really gaining yardage. 1:15 to go. The clock is running.
No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10.
No gain. It'll be 2nd down and 10. The ball's still at the 46-yard line. And we have come to the 1-minute mark. 1 minute left to play. And I don't believe that Muhlenberg has any timeouts left.
They must not have, or they would have called one for sure, because this game is just ticking away from them.
Mitchell gives the ball to Greg Weiss. He will be sure to hold on to it. And he breaks a tackle. And boy, he's carrying that ball like a loaf of bread.
34, Greg Weiss.
He gets over midfield and, in fact, all the way down to the 43-yard line. That will be a 1st down. And if indeed Muhlenberg has no timeouts left, this game is over.
They just called one now.
All right, so much for that strategy.
I think, though, as you pointed out, Bob Wolfram must have had mixed emotions on that run. Greg Weiss is making a great run, and he's eating up the yardage, but at the same time, he's holding that ball out in one arm, and that's just there for the plucking. And I'm sure Muhlenberg would have loved to knock that free. So kind of a risky run. As we'll see on the replay now, Greg Weiss, who's had some really outstanding runs today, but a little bit of risky business here.
I think he only knows one way, and that's full speed ahead. Sometimes a little dangerous when you're trying to kill the clock.
Okay, here is the replay. Again, what they've been doing all day, Weiss and Vandersol out front. He gets the good blocks, and he's straining and stretching for extra yardage. And look at his left arm there. Look how exposed that ball is. And see the guy go for the ball, and it's a miracle. He must have very strong hands, Greg Weiss, to hold on to it, because the Muhlenberg defender made a nice play, did try and punch the ball free, but didn't quite get it. So that was even closer after seeing the replay, and that was an excellent replay of how close Wyomissing came to losing the ball there.
42 seconds left to play. 1st and 10 for the Spartans. The ball at the 42-yard line of Muhlenberg. Mitchell just falls on the ball. And we'll see if Muhlenberg has any timeouts left. If they do, they most certainly will call one quickly, and I don't believe they have any left. So the clock will run. They may only have to snap the ball one more time. 25 seconds left. This is a big win for Wyomissing.
2nd down and about 12 for the Spartans.
And for Muhlenberg, it'll be their first loss in the league.
I'm sure a disappointing loss for Muhlenberg, but they showed stretches of playing excellent football today. And I don't think they have anything to be ashamed of. And Wyomissing has a lot to be proud of. They played a great game today, offensively and defensively. And I think they established again that the team in the Berks IC is Wyomissing.
It's all over. Wyomissing 17, Muhlenberg 9. Mike and I will be back right after these words to review the game, and we hope to have a post-game guest as well. Back right after this.
Hello everybody, this is Mike Zielinski, post-game show, and I'm surrounded with 4 of the key players for Wyomissing today following their big 17-9 victory over Muhlenberg in a very big Berks IC game. Today's game, Wyomissing came up with some great defensive plays, but I think the essence of this game was their offensive line play and a couple great runs by Greg Weiss. From my left is the center, Bill Bauer. This is Dean Vandersol, one of the guards. The other guard, John Weiss, and his twin brother, right?
Yeah,
Greg
yes,
Weiss.
yeah.
Let me ask first, Greg, being the running back, how was it to run behind these guys?
Well, I got to say one thing. I mean, you know, Wilson's always like a perennial powerhouse and everything, and they always do a real good job. But if you take them away, they're a huge school. We got right here the front three, best. Everyone should be all county, no doubt in my mind. We have the best line in the whole county, no doubt.
Well, first of all, on the wing tee, the center is a very key position because he makes all the line calls as well as making a lot of tough blocks, and that's Bill over here. You've had a good inside trap game today, and I thought that was a big key. What did you think?
I felt the inside men were very quick, but they lacked in strength, so we were able to move them around a lot.
You made a lot of those calls and made the blocking adjustments with a lot of influence blocking?
Yeah, on the 2-dive, 2-trap, and 6-dive.
You make a lot of backs look good. I thought I could have run through some of those holes.
Yeah, I don't know. You got to ask Greg about that.
Well, also, I'd like to talk to the two guards. These guys are really great pulling guards, and in the wing tee, you need that. And we have Dean Vandersall and John Weiss. It's confusing all these Weiss guys.
It is, all the Weiss.
Well, anyway, Dean, you guys really were active today, especially on Greg's touchdown run.
Well, I don't know what to say. I mean, just pulling around the corner and looking for people and searching. That's what our team's made of, and we're just out to destroy, and that's where we come from.
Of course, you got a head start in the game of football. Your dad knows a little bit about football, being a longtime coach at Albright College, right?
I don't know what you want me to answer about that, but yeah, he coached at Albright for a couple years, and then my little brother was born. He quit, so he showed me a lot of tricks, yeah.
We had a great game today, thanks. And John, how is it that you got to be the lineman and your brother gets to be the running back?
You hit the weight room.
Well, when I first came to Wyomissing, Papa Hoffmaster over there saw me and said, wow, here's a new kid who knows nothing about football. So they take the quick kids and make them guards before they know the running backs get all the glory. So they made me into a guard, and I played for a long time, and I started liking it, you know, and I hit the weights with Bill. Bill and I went up and lifted all summer with his dad. And, you know, we just knew we wanted to win the IC this year, and we wanted it bad enough, and today I think we showed it really, truly. I think we showed that we could do it.
Well, again, you and Dean had a great game pulling. You were very visible forces all over the place. And I thought the touchdown run by you, Greg, you got some great blocking. And you also got a great block from your end, 84. Give me the name.
Doug Spatz.
Doug Spatz had a great block as well. But you did an outstanding job of finishing it. You made a few guys miss you, and you ran over a few. Great run.
It took a little while, a couple penalties in there, but yeah, held my breath and everything. You know, hey, you know, you just got to do that. You got to suck it up. That's what champions are made of. And I think it was really showed a lot about our team this game and how much we wanted it, because we played Holy Name. Things started going bad, and showed early on in the season that when things would go bad, you know, maybe we would fall out a little bit. But it showed in the Mass game that we were really ready to go and take our spot in the top, because they scored that first touchdown. We came right back and drove it to them. And I mean, that's what this team's made of. I mean, we're just a bunch. We just don't know how to lose. And when, you know, we folded against Holy Name, and you know, after a while, it just gets a little tough to you know, get up for every game. But you know, when you play a game like this, I mean, it's easy, and you just got to go out there and do it.
I think you guys were up today. It was a great win. If you play any better than this, maybe you ought to play Wilson next.
I don't know. They got some pretty good guys, too.
Well, thanks for coming on, and back to Randy Stevens.
Thanks, Mike. A big win this afternoon for Wyomissing. The final score 17-9. Wyomissing led it 7-3 at the half. They scored 10 points in the second half. Muhlenberg with a late touchdown, but unfortunately it was too little too late.